What's poppin', my peeps? How's it going? My name is Burke Cullinane, and today we're gonna talk about this thing. I'm stoked about this video today. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm actually kind of glad that I waited because I just got a new one of these. For those of you guys who don't know what this is, it's a variable ND filter. I just got this new one because my old one that I'm using right now is just kind of busted. I won't lie, I'm not the safest with my gear. It does kind of get dropped and thrown around and stuff like that. So I got a different brand. I got a Hoya Variable ND. Now, if you guys don't know what an ND filter is, basically it's sunglasses for your lens. And when you put this on your lens, it gives you the ability to open your aperture all the way up so that you can get that nice shallow depth of field, that nice bokeh in the background. Now, I'm all about saying there are no rules, but there are techniques that we can utilize to help us be better filmmakers. Now, there's two techniques that we can follow in order to help us get a more cinematic look. Those two techniques being shooting with a faster lens or shooting wide open. So just like you see here, this aperture, it's all the way open, it's wide open, it's f1.4. When you shoot like that, you get that nice bokeh in the background, a nice shallow depth of field. Second technique is gonna be the 180-degree shutter rule. What that is having your shutter be double your frame rate. For example, if I'm shooting at 24 frames per second, if I wanna get the most accurate motion blur to what my eye sees, I would have my shutter speed be 1/50th or 1/48 if my camera can do that. But most of the time, if you're shooting outside or you're shooting in a very well-lit room, chances are it's just gonna be too bright for your camera to be at those settings. That's where the ND filter comes into play. I wouldn't recommend doing this. This is really bad for your camera's sensor, but right now I'm shooting how I would like to without an ND filter. I have my shutter at 1/50th and my aperture is wide open, but because it's so bright outside, the footage is just atrocious. It's super overexposed. But if I pop my ND filter on here. All right, ND filter's on. I'm gonna set my exposure by using my hand. There we go. Same settings on the camera, the only difference is now I'm using a variable ND, so now I get that nice shallow depth of field in the background, and I'm shooting at the right shutter speed. In order to get a more cinematic look, you're gonna want a more shallow depth of field. You're gonna want that bokeh in the background. We correlate that to having a higher quality image. So when you don't have an ND filter, chances are you're probably gonna crank your aperture. It's not gonna be as wide, and you're gonna lose that shallow depth of field. But when you shoot with a variable ND filter, it gives you the ability to open that aperture all the way up and still get that cinematic look. Rather than getting a fixed ND, I personally like a variable ND. It's just better for run and gun situations. I've used a Tiffin variable ND, and I just got this Hoya one. I really like the way this Hoya one works, so if you wanna pick up one, I got some links down in the description below. But before you purchase one, make sure you check out what ring size you need for your lens so you can get the right filter. All right, everybody, I'm gonna close this video out. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you aren't already, ring that bell, and we'll see you soon. Peace!